Hello and welcome to another zombie video. Today we are exploring Richtofen's Journey. This video is not meant to give you every detail, but instead explain the main impacts of his journey on the storyline and what he actually did. First, Richtofen and Primus crew arrive in the beginning universe at an unknown location. They formulate a plan to stop evil Richtofen from this dimension. When does this happen? Right before Subject 26 is killed in the original Kino der Toten radios. Our Primus characters enter the Black Ops 1 storyline during the Kino der Toten experiments right after the ending of Origins. Once the team formulates a plan, Takio, Tank, and Nikolai use their unknown means of teleportation to arrive in the Giant. While the other three arrive in the Giant, Richtofen is contacted by Maxis, who explains to him that the test subjects must not be awakened. This is saying, don't let the characters from Black Ops 1 wake up, because they will eventually blow up the Earth and mess up the universe.
That's it? Seriously? All that work and all we did was blow up the Earth? What the fuck?
8 days after Richtofen is contacted by Maxis, he is teleported to the house in Argatha. He meets Maxis. Once there, Maxis tells him that Richtofen must secure the Chronorium and the summoning key. Without any in-game explanation, Richtofen can use his connections with Stuhlinger to talk him into getting the Chronorium. This is when Richtofen's journey begins. Now understand, Richtofen is talking to a post-buried Maxis endgame Tranzit crew. He guides a Tranzit crew through a whole comic book series to get the Chronorium. Before he begins talking to Stu, he sets out on another mission. Richtofen returns to Dimension 63. This is where Origins, Mob of the Dead, and Shadows of Evil all exist, and contacts the Illuminati to help him build the laboratory under Alcatraz. Why the Illuminati, you might ask? In the original introduction of Richtofen and Shido Numa, he reveals that he is a part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati symbol continues to show up in the Black Ops 1 maps, informing players that there's still supposed to be some connection to them. This is Treyarch's best way to explain their connections from the past, shoehorning them in to making the Mob of the Dead lab. Anyway, then Richtofen talks to Stanley Ferguson, remember that guard from Mob of the Dead's intro cutscene, and gets him to help build that lab. Once he has Stanley and the Illuminati constructing the lab, he returns to the house, where he persuades Victus to go to a variety of locations to recover the Chronorium. Those places include the unknown starting city inside the comics, Broken Arrow, Zero Base, and the Empty Earth. If you want me to summarize Victus's journey from start to finish in a quick video, let me know in the comments. That will be from BO2 to the end of the comics, kind of like we did with this journey video, but only if you're interested. Once Victus arrives at the lab in Dimension 63, Richtofen meets them there. Richtofen reads the Chronorium and learns that he's going to die no matter the timeline. This is where he learns about the blood vials. If you want to understand those, check out my video description or the cards for a video I made about those, explaining their use and why they're important. Richtofen then leaves Victus to get the blood of the Tranzit crew, Sal and Finn. The time and the dimension are not clear to us at this time. It stands to reason that Richtofen steals Sal and Finn's blood from a time when they were staying at Mob of the Dead. We see in the comics he enters a similar room to the Mob of the Dead lab and takes their blood. What doesn't make any sense is why Undead Richtofen already knew to get the Tranzit crew's blood. It is stated that Richtofen learns about the blood vials after he reads the Chronorium, but Undead Richtofen guides Victus through their journey until he gets their blood in the last comic after they get the Chronorium. What's the answer? Oh, you're not gonna like this. This is how the paradox begins. Richtofen will tell Undead Richtofen to get Victus's blood after reading the Chronorium. This is exactly the chicken and the egg paradox. How is Undead Richtofen in the comics able to get the blood when Primus Richtofen must tell him to go get the blood only after Victus has given Primus Richtofen the Chronorium? Whew. It is a paradox thanks to time travel. Buckle up, because it's about to get crazier. Once Richtofen has the blood vials, he travels back in time in Dimension 63 to give himself the blood vials just before Origins begins. Then he travels back to Mob of the Dead, where he puts the Tranzit crew into cryogenic slumber pods. As soon as they fall asleep, wouldn't you know it, the Primus crew arrives. Primus Richtofen hands the blood vials of the Tranzit crew to his future self. This is what happens between Zetsubo no Shima and Revelations in-game in Black Ops 3. After 1.0 Takeo is killed, Richtofen decides he wants to save all of his friends because remember, he read the Chronorium, which told him they all die in all timelines. Richtofen finally feels for his teammates and decides to go back to Mob of the Dead to get the Victus blood vials to save his companions. But how would he know to get the blood vials before he decides to save his teammates? Welcome to the next paradox created by Richtofen's Journey. Guess what? It's already time for the third paradox in this journey. The Primus Richtofen that comes back from Zetsubo no Shima tells the Journey Richtofen, the one we started with, the location of the summoning key. Yes, indeed, Richtofen from the future tells his past Richtofen self how to find the summoning key when he only learned it from his future self. It is another paradox. Now, Primus leaves with the blood vials, arriving back in Zetsubo no Shima, and then they go on to go from Krovi to Revelations as we know it. Meanwhile, Journey Richtofen, we'll call him now, leaves Mob of the Dead's facility and arrives in Mork City. Richtofen learns that the reporter, who was manipulated by the Shadow Man, by the way, has the summoning key. He attacks Richtofen only to have Richtofen kill him in self-defense. Monty wrote a letter to this reporter telling him not to give the summoning key up because he believed the Shadow Man was going to take it from the reporter. Instead, Richtofen shows up, there's a misunderstanding, and he's killed. This is the person we see dead inside a window in Shadows of Evil, and there's the letter labeled M from Dr. Monty. Richtofen then leaves Mork City, only to return at the end of the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, where he snags the summoning key and then immediately travels to Dimension 2210, which is not shown on the timeline. Oh joy! He then secures his innocent Richtofen's soul. His innocent soul travels to the house where he meets Samantha, and then that's part of an earlier timeline we're not getting into in this video. Then Richtofen arrives in the teleporter in Darice after all of that, and he shoots evil Richtofen, remember from the original game we played, in the friggin' face. This causes the first fractured universe. In the intro, the fracture actually begins as soon as the Primus crew arrives. What is even more interesting is my friend Nick pointed out, at the end of the giant Easter egg, we get a reward called Paradoxical Prologue, which refers to the end of Richtofen's journey. It's the prologue before the paradox continues. The entire prologue in Black Ops 3, we continue through all the fractured universes, allowing the paradox to continue. The next game is going to be about resolving this paradox. Another interesting item is the fact that Dimension 63 is destroyed in 1944, meaning that we can travel back in time before the universe is destroyed. What I think is now likely to happen is during the next game, we will get Mob of the Dead as a DLC, like we've all talked about a million times now. We will play as the Victus crew, all same information we talked about before, but their Easter egg will be escaping the collapse of that dimension. That would be an epic start to the season as they try and escape an expanded Mob of the Dead right before the Apothegons collapse that universe. That is Richtofen's Journey with as much explanation as you need to understand how it affects the story and when things are happening. There are more details and ciphers, but it only adds to the confusion. I hope this helped you understand what the heck happened pre-Black Ops 3 and during Black Ops 3 and what this now means for Black Ops 4. Zombies is going to be huge next year. Treyarch is really setting up a huge payoff, but they need to deliver this time. I have faith in Treyarch because they always find some way to keep pulling us back in. I don't know how they do it, but it's the weirdest sort of abusive relationship I've ever been in. Subscribe for more zombies and gaming content if you're interested in that crap. Leave a rating if you want or don't. I'm not your dad. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.